Everyone, it's Alexis Cardoza.
What's up, everybody? It's the Wild Rhino Clark Connors from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I am here getting wild, drinking an 805.
Hey, this is Billy Starks.
Rip F and Bison. I ran out of booze.
Join us because we're drinking at Moe's. I am the fire starter, the Carney Killer. I am born to die, Jake Christ.
This is Bobby Olson. We're drinking at Moe's. You better hit like and subscribe.
All right, everybody, welcome to Drinking Moe's. This is my 2 cents, and as of recording this, we're still getting ready for one of the big four, SummerSlam, which, as of recording, like I said, tomorrow, but when this releases, it will be a day of. I figured one of my better episodes for my 2 cents on the audio platforms, at least, I believe on the YouTube channel too, was of my last WrestleMania predictions and that sort of thing. So I figured, why not? Since I'm jumping back into this, we'll jump back in. We'll do one of the other big four, SummerSlam. Things are shaping up. The card has been rounded out. There's some controversies, I guess, for the lack of a better term. You know, there's been matches pulled, like the Trish Becky Lynch, which is just mind-boggling that you got Logan Paul on there, and then you have time for the first match I'm gonna go up with, the SummerSlam Battle Royal presented by Slim Jim. Now, there hasn't been too many people that have been declared for this match so far. I believe it's only really been LA Knight and Sheamus so far. There's a lot of people clamoring for LA Knight to pull out the big win here. I would have to say I agree with, as much as he's been kind of getting himself over despite the inconsistent, lackluster booking that they have for him right now. If you're really wanting to really get him going right now, this would be a good start in having him win this match. Sorry, one of my dogs is trying to get my attention right now. Anyways, like I said, who else would they even have win this right now if you're wanting to get a good jump with anybody? Next, so I'm going to say prediction, LA Knight wins that one. Next up, Logan Paul versus Ricochet. Now, more often than not, I would go with, you know, who had the upper hand in the go-home show for Raw ended up losing the pay-per-view. That way I normally end up going with this thing. But thinking, unless they're just using Logan Paul as this spot monkey guy that's going to end up putting on, I guess, decent matches, putting over his opponents. But I'm thinking they got to have him end up winning here soon. And right here on SummerSlam, I think the big stage that it is, you know, they're over there, the Detroit Lions Stadium for this show, be a pretty big stage to get him that win. So logically, I'm thinking Logan Paul. So that will be my final choice there, as much as I would much rather have Ricochet win. Going with Logan Paul. Next up, Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler in an MMA rules match. Now, the history has been known with these two. They trained together at MMA. They've been tag team champs, although somewhat short-lived. And, now they're fighting each other. Word going around is that Ronda Rousey will be leaving WWE, if not right after SummerSlam. Words are hard. Very close to it. So that would lead me to believe that Shayna Baszler is going to pick up the win here. Now, MMA rules, it's going to be interesting if they just keep in the regular ring. Would have been fun if they did a fight pit MMA rules sort of deal, but it should be a pretty interesting contest. Like I said, Shayna Baszler for the win here. Next up, we have Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Now, somewhat surprising there hasn't been some sort of stipulation picked for this match. Or be it, hell, I brought up the fight pit for Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler fight pit here. Maybe some other sort of stipulation, but that hasn't been stated. This is the rubber match. They've each won one. Who's going to win this? End up coming on top. Kind of thinking two ways here. That you see my dog Daisy here. For those that'll watch the YouTube version. Hello. But I can see this going the way of Cody Rhodes. Obviously, because, they're pushing this documentary, which I'm going to have to end up watching here soon. But they're really pushing Cody Rhodes, the documentary. And how is that going to factor into the decisions for this match? Like I said, in my mind, it would be the logical choice to end up having Cody Rhodes win, because who knows how much Lesnar will be around afterwards. I don't think we're going to get any real answers as to why Lesnar turned on Cody back over many damn months ago it was now. But like I said, that is about it for that one. Now, although there has been some rumors about, who could come back and interfere one way or the other. There's Bray Wyatt, Stephen Amell, because Cody Rhodes and Stephen Amell have history with, the Arrow and Ring of Honor, and I believe even the past SummerSlam. So, it's interesting, but regardless, Cody Rhodes for the win here. Next, this one's intriguing. This one is very intriguing for me. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So, the thing that makes it interesting here is because in my head, I can see it playing out multiple different ways. This, on the go-home edition of Raw, you saw Damian Priest was in a tag team match, and then a little inkling like he wanted to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase. Didn't really happen the way he wanted. He didn't cash it in. So, but there was a little tension there with Finn Balor. Now, one way I can see this going is Seth Rollins wins, but Finn Balor, pissed off, him and the rest of Judgment Day attack him after the match. Then, Damian Priest has that briefcase. Now, is he going to cash it in there? I would say so. That's my thinking behind it. Then, he wins. He becomes the World Heavyweight Champion. And then there's that little tension there with Finn Balor. Now, the other way I can see this going, Finn Balor ends up winning hard-fought match. They're celebrating. But then Damian Priest, in there celebrating, attacks him, cashes in the briefcase, and then he's the champ. Leading again to little tension there with Finn Balor. So, one way or the other, whether Seth Rollins or Finn Balor ends up winning the actual match, I see Damian Priest actually walking away with that title at the end of the night. Last but not least, for as far as Raw matches on the card goes, and I'm not saying which one's going to be the main event or whatever, but as far as Raw matches goes, we got one more. Gunther versus Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental title. Now, this is where I'm thinking, WWE seems to be on that roll lately of having people in this generation of WWE superstars breaking records for longest title reigns and this and that. So going along those lines, it's going to be interesting because if they still go along with that, Gunther is very close to breaking the Honky Tonk Man's streak for the longest Intercontinental title reign. So, in that sense, I would have to go with Gunther. I love Drew McIntyre. I think he's great. I think he deserves a lot better than, being the WWE champ when there's nobody in the crowd. So hopefully he'll get back to that. At some point, just on this night, I see them having another superstar break another streak. So that is it as far as Raw brand matches goes. Coming up next will be the SmackDown ones. Now, I get it. This, air quotes, brand split, excuse me, doesn't really mean crap. They do the draft. They have people taken to different brands. They have their free agents, even though they're not using that damn term, right? Regardless, it's weird for me seeing that out of this whole show, you could consider the Battle Royal kind of both. Both are three brands, I guess, if you're gonna include NXT in there, which I guess they're starting to do shit like that. And that's fine. But in all reality, the vast majority of the matches on this card are all from storylines from the Raw brand, which it's just strange to me. Anyways, before I get on a ramble, next up will be the SmackDown side of things, where there is a triple threat match for the women's title where it's Asuka versus Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. And then you got Tribal Combat for the World Heavyweight title and the Tribal Chief spot with Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. We'll be giving my thoughts on those here quick. Anyways, like I said, this is going to be a pretty interesting card. I'm more excited than I thought that I would be. Let's fucking go.
All right, everybody. Want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinking at Moe's be a brand ambassador. They encourage everybody to break out of that comfort zone, live their best self, which, hey, that's what got me starting the podcast. But they got great clothing, great apparel, t-shirts, hoodies, beanies, hats, all that good stuff. Be sure, link will be in the description, and use the code Drinking at Moe's to get 10% off your order. Let's fucking go.
All right, we're back, and this time we are going over the SmackDown portion of SummerSlam. Now, like I mentioned, there's only 2 matches that everybody is on the SmackDown side. You got the triple threat match with Asuka, Bianca Belair, and Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Championship. Now, this one's kind of tricky for me because I see, especially with one of those vignettes that they had on SmackDown, where Charlotte Flair was definitely given a little bit more of a cocky, heelish vibe to me with that vignette, the promo that she did. And making me think that Bianca and Charlotte might cancel each other out. Like one person's going for it, then they get in a big squabble between the two of them, and then Asuka sneaks away with it. Even if it don't exactly happen that way, for some reason I'm kind of leaning towards Asuka here. So final choice, I'm definitely going Asuka. Now, I can acknowledge that, there's this one might be one where I get it wrong. I can already see it, but hey, I acknowledge I probably wasn't going to get all of them right. I do have somewhat of a good record with this stuff, so we'll see how it goes. Then, last but not least, we have the match that Tribal Combat, anything goes, has to be a winner with also the undisputed WWE Universal Championship on the line. God damn, that is a long ass name for a fucking title. Regardless, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso. Now, again, hell, really, both of the SmackDown matches kind of tricky. Now, honestly, I was hearing this earlier with some people making their predictions, and what I kind of agree that if Cody Rhodes wasn't going to be the guy to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, this last one, like vast majority of people I know feel that he should have been, it has me leaning towards it. It needs to be Jey Uso. Not saying that I think that this historic reign that Roman Reigns is on is going to end. I got this sneaking feeling that this is going to all just end up leading back to Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns again. see how it goes, but I am literally thinking it can go one of two ways. Roman obviously wins, keeps it going, or Jey Uso ends up winning and ends up maybe not having that long of a reign, but hey, still getting to say that he was a former champ at whatever time. But I'm leaning more towards Roman Reigns here. As much as I am thinking I'm going to be glad whenever this reign of his is over, we'll see how it goes. But like I said, that is about all I have. It's looking like it's going to be a relatively decent card. That being said, with, some of the nitpicky things, the match with Becky and Trish not happening, and there was one other women's match that it was rumored to be on, but I should have written it on my notes. Anyways, that is about all I have. I hope everybody is going to be having a good weekend. SummerSlam looking like a great night. Let's all have some fun. Let's fucking go.